Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now. 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
So Scott is out. You got Steve and Drew here this Friday morning. Yeah, I can hear the groans. Yeah, I know. Listen, Scott's on assignment, so if you'd like to participate, you can certainly do so on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We've got a lot to get into, Drew DeArmond. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Always good to be with you, Steve. And I know we had a bunch of high school football last night, including on our streaming network, and it was busy. I was busy with Huntsville High basketball as they got tipped off against a scrappy, well-coached Bob Jones team. And, if you're going up against a Bryant Starkey team, he does a great job at Bob Jones. And it's the kind of thing where you enjoy watching them play and compete unless your team is playing against them. And then you feel like you're in the seventh circles of hell. But it was a tough environment last night over at Bob Jones, and both teams played their tails off. It wasn't a Picasso, and both teams had trouble from the free throw line, no question about that. And there was a ton of fouls called. It was very physical, but Huntsville got an extremely quality win, a tough place to play, 67-58. They were led by the 21 points of Evan Toms, who is going to be counted on this year big time to be kind of the bell cow.
Junior,
squad.
right?
Yeah, he's a junior. And then junior, Hudson the Snake Gossett, a.k.a. the Rifleman. He had 6 threes last night, ended up with 19 points. He's got a great mullet. And he and a nice little stash going. But
eastbound and down action.
He would fit in.
Okay,
but he did a great job last night and scoring the basketball. And then remember, Tyson Bobick. He's a guy to transfer from. He moved in from Oklahoma. His first game as a starting point guard for Huntsville, had 10 and 5 last night. Made some clutch plays down the stretch. And then there were some unsung heroes. David Harrison got a big dunk late, made a big free throw, and trust me, free throws are at a premium. And
with then 55 fouls.
Or that's what it seemed like anyway. I didn't go back and count them in their entirety.
Well, that's why I went there. If anybody would know, you would know.
It was a lot of whistles, man. Trust me. And let's put it this way. I think we figured out last night it was a 2.5 hour game, and that's a varsity game. So it lasted a while, but Travell Lewis made some plays in the second half. Proud of him and the grit he showed, and some big rebounds. Will Carter, who this is his first year with the squad, really good baseball player, former football player, and he got some big rebounds last night, made a big free throw. So it was a very tough win, and I think it'll be one that'll pay off down the road. Again, when you're playing against a Bob Jones squad with that kind of program and what they're made of, you definitely had to earn it.
Some final scores from last night, or what pops off the page immediately, is Priceville down in Gunnersville in overtime, 24-21.
Yeah, I heard about it right after the Huntsville game got over with at like 10:15 or whatever time it was. It's I was talking to Thomas Ashworth of AL.com. He was there last night covering the Huntsville basketball game. And he said, man, you're not going to believe what just happened. He said, Gunnersville was up 21-7. I think he told me with 2 minutes plus to go, and they even had the football. And then somehow Priceville rallies and gets it to overtime and wins it 24-21. So huge kudos out there to Seth Parker and those guys. And that's a program-defining win for him in year 2. And
also,
it's never easy to –
I can't believe that it's November 7th and Gunnersville's done.
Well, that's what I mean. That doesn't happen very often to Lance Reese and those guys.
Yeah.
And they do a great job at Gunnersville, and it's a traditional power. And they're routinely in the second, if not the third round. They've won a state championship under Phil Isom in 2006. So it's just, they're used to postseason runs, and and winning region titles and hosting playoff games. So them going home in round one is extremely unusual.
Yeah. Athens, they fell last night to Fort Payne, 38-23. It was Muscle Shoals over Mae Jemison, 38-12. Scottsboro also played last night, had no problems with West Point, 45-14. Geraldine, boy, that is a tough environment there. Yeah. As the Bulldogs down Rogers, 59-27. Death taxes and the Fife Red Devils once
15
again.
15 years in a row, Steve, they've won their opening round game.
34-7 is that final score over Lauderdale County. And, that is most of the area action that kicked it up to last night. We got more tonight. In fact, we'll talk to Bob Godsey, the head man in charge at Madison Academy. I'll have the call on that one here tonight over on Talk Radio WZZN. That's our HD.2 channel.
Well, we're not taking away from the Blitz. I'm sure they're going to have Grace Anello on today.
Yeah, weather will play a factor
update,
today.
But I'll put it on you. I'll put the onus on you on Talking Ball, as you can be our weatherman. What is it looking like right now? I know it was overcast this morning as we came in.
It was quite pleasant this morning.
Yeah. So what's the latest on the weather situation?
Okay. So the National Weather Service, this is what I just punt to all the time.
Right.
Let's see here. Partly sunny today with a high near 73. Tonight. Showers and thunderstorms likely before 1 a.m. There is a slight chance of showers between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., which that's all good to me, with lows around 57 degrees. The weather front, a chance of participation is 70%, beginning at around 9 to 9:30, at least in the Huntsville metro area.
Well, you're going to have to look up Hartselle for me because that's where I'm going to be. So,
well, I mean,
it
does not go that specific from the National Weather Service.
I gotcha.
I would assume you're a little further south than we're here.
Right.
So maybe closer to 10 o'clock for you guys down at Hartselle.
Yeah.
Which I think would be good.
Yeah. And then, and we have Jimmy Lay. I'm sure he's going to do the lay of the land to close out the show today. But the new era at Westminster started. Coach Drago coming over from Chattanooga. He's the boys basketball coach now at Westminster. Their first game, and I heard about this last night, but they were down 10 in the fourth quarter and came back to win 55-51 over Columbia. So
wow,
good win in the debut for Westminster, no question about that.
256-576-4977 is the telephone number. Week 11 of the college football campaign kicks it up tomorrow on the SEC, actually with ESPN television, and that is Georgia at Mississippi State. And I think matchup for matchup, this I think could be a very competitive game. The biggest issue I have is how many times Mississippi State has just kind of stubbed on their own toe, where it feels like every critical penalty has been just that for Mississippi State, be it games against Tennessee or Florida. They have big mistakes, and that's why they're 5-4. But if they play a cleaner game, cleaner than what they have been playing, I think they can hang with Georgia pretty good.
I think it's definitely possible to see them hang with Georgia. The only game they've been out of in the fourth quarter was against Texas A&M. They lost that game 31-9.
Yeah.
So
and that was a heavy turnover game too.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they can avoid turnovers against Georgia and get off to a quick start, I do think that they can, have a shot to win the game. And then this is just the way Georgia's played all year. And it's not a shot at them at all. It's just, every game has been kind of a war. Every game has been kind of blood and guts. And every game but one against Alabama at home, they figured out a way to win. And they had multiple opportunities in the game against Alabama, and they just were they had a drop pass, they had a turnover, so that's kind of the what they've they're just a scrappy team, man. They just find a way, and they're very, very tough minded, and Alabama, it was very, very fortunate to escape Athens with that win because they didn't score a point in the second half, but they were able to drive the ball at key times when they had to and keep the ball away from Georgia and put Georgia in a bind a couple of times. But certainly being in Starkville, it's a dangerous game because, again, Mississippi State's playing for bowl eligibility and, quite frankly, have been much improved in year 2 under Jeff Lebby. And it's a trap game because Georgia's got Texas looming. And so this is a kind of a difficult spot for them. And it just shows how tough the league is in the Southeastern Conference because, again, I think the Big Ten is a 4-team league. I think they've got 4 good teams and a bunch of garbage, the rest of it. And then the ACC, it's absolutely horrendous.
One bid league.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that Louisville might even be the best team. I thought it might be Georgia Tech, and then they decided not to show up against NC State, and they got whipped. So I think that's without a doubt a one bid league. And then our good friend Josh Pate, he's going to load up the plane, the quick trip plane. He's going to go over to Lubbock, Texas. And I believe that, that's the Texas Tech BYU game to decide, a one bid league there in my opinion, in the Big 12. So there'll be a lot of people complaining.
A lot of eyes in the Big 12 this weekend.
But that's just a fact. I mean, I think the Big 10 is probably a 3 bid league at this point in time. Of course, Ohio State and Indiana. But it is kind of funny when they come out with the college football playoff rankings and Ohio State and Indiana are 1 and 2, and yet their schedule strength doesn't even match up with Texas A&M. But that's just the way it is. They're going by the polls where Ohio State and Indiana have been 1 and 2 all year. I do think that, of course, Ohio State and Indiana are elite and very, very good teams. I wasn't a believer in Indiana early on, but now I certainly am after they went and whacked Oregon on the road. So in such a thorough
but
fashion.
They've got an odd matchup this weekend as well, where Penn State has more or less owned Indiana historically.
Yeah, Tom Brew. He told us, and he's an Indiana season ticket holder, covered the Hoosiers for years for Sports Illustrated. I
think they have 2 wins all time over Penn State.
Yeah, but they've never beaten Penn State in Happy Valley ever.
Yeah.
And he told us that. He's like, so, and going into the season, this was considered, this was where a lot of people thought Penn State would flex and be maybe the best team in the country. We all know that they imploded. But they've never won in Happy Valley at all. And then they haven't won a Big Ten championship since the 40s. So, and I knew it had been a long time for that. Because, again, Bill Mallory had a pretty good run there where they were getting to postseason. Anthony Thompson, when I was growing up, running back, was a Heisman candidate, a good player, really, that I remember, very succinctly. And then, they had Tom Allen had, and we talked about that. Yeah. Tom Allen had Kalen DeBoer, had David Ballou, had Kane Womack, and they had some 8-4 seasons. Yeah. But they've just never. But this is far and away the best.
The heyday of Indiana or Indiana football is right now.
Pretty much. I mean, the last 2 years. I mean, even though last year I thought they were a fraud, I'll be honest with you. They got into the playoff, but they did it off the backs of a joke schedule. And then when they played the 2 teams with the Pulse, they got their ass beat, and that was by Ohio State and Notre Dame.
But they've backed it up in a big way this year.
This year they look different. They look better. They look capable of being a top 4 seed and, being a contender for the national championship. And so kudos to them. I kind of have them on the same plane as Vanderbilt from the standpoint of, Vandy last year was kind of a pain in the butt. They surprised Alabama. They almost beat Texas. They were a 7-16, beat Georgia Tech in the bowl game. But this year they've taken that step to being a really good team. Now their playoff hopes are on life support, and now they play a very dangerous Auburn team that, quite frankly, we know will be good on defense, but we don't have a clue, what they're going to look like offensively in Nashville. And if Vanderbilt wants to stay in the conversation, they have to win.
Let's before I've got a little bit of audio from Joel Klatt, who was on with the boys from the next round. He had a thought or two on how good the Auburn job is. I wanted to get your take on what Joel Klatt had to say on the Auburn job. But Bubba has called in, wants to talk a little Gunnersville football. Good morning, Bubba. How are you?
What a game.
Hey, guys. Oh, can y'all hear me all right?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. We're going to dub it the Miracle at Chorba-Lee.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
In Gunnersville, as everybody knows, but I'll break down the last 2 minutes of the game. Basically, Gunnersville had taken the whole fourth quarter, and their quarterback, Street, he was just rushing down the field. Really, we couldn't stop him, and pretty much the game's going to be put on ice. They get down to about inside their 10-yard line, and he put it on the ground, and we were able to recover that fumble. And then we go the length of the field and put a score on the board. We were down at 14 at that point. It was 21-7. So we score. It's 21-13.
13, yeah.
We got a minute left in the game, and we're going to onside kick it. We recover the onside kick at midfield, and then we take it and we score again there with 5 seconds to go on the clock.
Wow. Yep.
We go for 2, and we tie the game up at 21 to go into overtime. And so overtime, they get the ball first. They weren't able to move it in, so they get their kicker out there. He misses wide right, which gives us an opportunity. And basically, we win the game on a 27-yard field goal, and we walk it off at Chorba-Lee.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. I heard it was just a crazy ending, man.
Wow.
I mean, it looked like Gunnersville had it, and like you said, the turnover late, and high school playoff football can turn.
When was the fumble? When was the fumble, Bubba?
Momentum shifts.
So the fumble was there was a minute and 50 left on the clock.
Yeah, I was heard just
all
under
they had
2
to do was
minutes.
just kind of hang on to it.
Wow.
Yeah, we're down 21-7 with a minute and 50. It was inside the 10-yard line.
That's crazy.
And we had to go 90 yards to score. But, hey, man, you can't ever count them out. Bulldogs are having an incredible season. And
they are.
All kinds of happiness going on over here in Priceville this morning. We're proud.
It should be.
Wow.
I mean, when I heard the result.
I wonder how many sick days have been called in this morning at Gunnersville High School.
Yeah, that's
goodness.
Tough, man.
I hurt for those kids though.
It's very,
I mean, don't get me wrong, excited for Priceville. But in the same regard,
the finality of it is
exactly.
Priceville fought to the very end. Just like that. Of course, this was just a first basketball game of the season last night, but it had the feel of a playoff game over at Bob Jones, the intensity. But the finality of a high school football playoff game, I've said it before, there's nothing like winning one, and Bubba's talking about that from the Priceville perspective and coming back and winning that game. But there's nothing more heartbreaking or gut-wrenching if you lose one. Yeah. Because you don't get a mulligan, man. It's over.
That's done.
Well, you think about the Priceville seniors, they're thinking they're, less than 2 minutes away from not playing again. Right. And Gunnersville's probably thinking, obviously, we're going to play next week. But you're right. The finality of it is just so instant.
And think about it. Even with the turnover, you Priceville still had to go 90 yards, which they did. Then they still had to get an onside kick, which they did.
I saw something sort of similar
to hit the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, with Madison Academy coming from behind. I think it was 3 minutes and 11 seconds left to go at North Jackson.
Yeah.
Coming back and winning 57-56.
AKA Russia.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, guys, I appreciate you letting me get on. The Miracle at Chorba-Lee. We pulled it off.
Well, congratulations, Bubba. Thank you for calling.
Thank you, Bubba. Let's take our first time out. Joel Klatt had something to say. How good is the Auburn job? We'll find out on the other side. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
And the clock's going to run out, and Bama's going to win it. And for the love, let's get out of here.
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on the LSU Tigers at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our coverage begins at 3:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at the service department at Woody Anderson Ford. When you need service on your vehicle, whether it's a Ford or any other make, you want to get into Woody Anderson Ford, where their expert service technicians will get it diagnosed and repaired right away, the right way. And while you are there, check out all the new and pre-owned vehicles at Woody Anderson as well. They are ready to make you the best deal possible. Visit Woody Anderson Ford today.
Woody Anderson Ford on Jordan Lane in Huntsville, Hughes Road in Madison, and online at woodyanddersonford.com.
Don't you wish that you had some secrets to help you get an edge on your business competition? Wouldn't it be great if someone could solve challenges at your company that you don't have the time or expertise to fix on your own? You know, there is a solution. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm based in Huntsville that trains employees in sports psychology secrets to drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and has put that experience to good use. Higher Echelon helps organizations shave hundreds of hours off work time by improving processes, and Higher Echelon helps organizations save and make more money by walking them through technology updates and implementations. You don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com today to take your company to the next level. Go higher and go Army.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
It's finally Friday.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Hey, come on now. Nothing wrong with a little possum action on a Friday morning. Come on, give me some more.
I got a little sugar baby down the road. She's sitting on a radio rocking on gold.
You didn't know you were getting yourself into, did you, Brody? Uh-huh. Yeah. 256-576-4977 is the telephone number. How good is the Auburn job? Well, Joel Klatt had this to say on The Next Round I believe this was yesterday morning.
And the fact that it's worth pondering, I think, tells you everything about the job, right? Let me go back to your first point. I wholeheartedly agree. I read some stuff and they're like, well, obviously they're going to go get Lane. Like, there's no way you would leave Ole Miss for Auburn. Just ain't happening, especially with Florida and LSU open. And then Drinkowitz, I wouldn't leave Missouri because I feel like, again, I think that's their expectation is more in line with what their program is. The Kentucky one is interesting. If you believe that you need time to go and build what you want to build and do it right, like Tony Elliott at Virginia, right? He's had a few years and now he's reaping the rewards of that. Then you go to Kentucky because Auburn is going to think that they're going to go and next year compete for it. And then if you lose your first three SEC games, they'll be sitting there like, well, what are we going to do now? So yeah, I think it's tough because I think Auburn is a great program. I love Auburn as a program. I think it's better when Auburn is a top tier SEC team, but this is not a job that's that attractive, but it's because of the way the people around the program have behaved in the last 15 years. Again, it's about expectation. It's about pulling the trigger as quick as possible. Plus, you guys know, probably even more so than I, but I've got, enough connections to know that, like, when it starts going south at Auburn, it gets nasty, and there's, the Harsin stuff and everything going, there's a lot going on at that place.
How good is the Auburn job, you think?
Well, I still think it's a top 20 job in the country if you get the right coach. But it's been tough because they have had issues at athletic director. They did have some instability at school president, no doubt about it. And they did make two poor hires because Brian Harsin did not work out. Hugh Freeze, we've talked about this. I would say Hugh is, the results were better. I know his home record stunk and everything like that, but but the reason it was better is a better roster is now. Now, the new coach, whoever that may be, has got to keep said roster together. There's no guarantees with NIL and the transfer portal that you could lose a Cam Coleman, you could lose.
That's real.
I mean, and you got guys like Keldrick Falk, who will very likely be a first round draft pick who won't be back. Kieron Crawford, he's a senior, he's going to be moving on. So we'll see. But they have some, very talented young players, especially on the defensive side, that you would like to keep there. You saw one of those guys make a big play against Kentucky. The only reason they scored, Elijah Melendez, he's a freshman from Miami. So you're wanting to keep the majority of these guys. But the thing is, if DJ Durkin is not the head coach, it's going to be very interesting. Can the new guy come in? Does he want to bring all his own guys with him? Does he try to retain DJ Durkin? That's what's going to be some of the very interesting storylines going forward. But if they can find the right coach, certainly Auburn can be formidable. They still have an outstanding, fan base that's, turned out in droves and supported the team. So that's going to be very attractive. It seems as though, even not winning, Hugh Freeze has had 2 straight top 10 classes. So their NIL is strong. I still think it's an attractive job.
Is it a better job than the Ole Miss job?
Right now, no. I think Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin. Now, if they lose Lane Kiffin and, if somebody like Wild Turkey were given the head coaching job, now I know he's supposedly turned some of his personal life around and things of that nature, but he's still never been a head coach. And to me, even
Pete Golding, for those that don't speak Drew and Harry,
this NIL portal era, coaching still matters. And having the right guy, because for Ole Miss and what they're doing, I think, Lane Kiffin is the right guy. I still think Lane's going to stay there, but you never know. I mean, he nearly went to Auburn, 3 years ago. I don't think he's going to consider Auburn this time. I think it's more of a Florida LSU situation.
I'm feeling like LSU's got a better pull than Florida for him.
Well, for me, I've said Florida because of his ties to the Sunshine State.
I've bought into what you said a year ago, and that's Drankowitz. Fit-wise, that feels like it's a better fit.
I think Drink would be a really good fit at Florida. But, in the end, I just don't think Lane's going to leave. I think if things play out and he's able to navigate and win the Egg Bowl and get to the playoff, because he would. I mean, even if they don't get to Atlanta, if they're 11-1, the Ole Miss Rebels are in the playoff. Yeah. Then I just think it's going to be really hard for him to leave, and I think he would stay. But I would say if you had to put a percentage on it, I'd say 70%. But I'm not going to hedge. I'm going to hedge a little bit because you never know. I mean, it's Lane Kiffin, and certainly wherever he goes, he's going to be one of the top 3 to 4 to 5 highest paid coaches. But I will say, if he gets to the college football playoff with Ole Miss, that's huge. And it's just something that, I didn't see it coming this year. I thought last year they had a great roster where they should have made it. I thought they would be more of a 9-3 team this year that would have a chance once again, but then would fall short. But that hasn't been the case because I thought LSU would be better than they were. I didn't see Brian Kelly getting fired. But they sort of just fell apart. They didn't do their jobs. And then fate can kind of intervene because think about it. Early in the season, Steve, Arkansas is driving to win in Oxford, Mississippi.
Yeah,
and they fumble. And that started sealing the fate of Sam Pittman. If Ole Miss loses that game, then maybe, Lane Kiffin having a good year, but they're not going to make the playoff, so to speak. Maybe he does have his eyes on, okay, maybe he's thinking in a Brian Kelly-esque way where Brian Kelly thought, okay, I took Notre Dame as far as I can take them. I'm going somewhere else with more resources. Even though the NIL is good at Ole Miss, even though they're paying him very well, maybe he starts thinking, I need to go to LSU or to Florida, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But I will give him credit. He and Jimmy Sexton, they're not going to play their cards. I mean, they're going to kind of hold Ole Miss's feet to the fire, and Ole Miss is going to have to, pony up. If not, they've got a couple other options here. And then guys like our good friend John Summerall, he's got a huge game tonight, against Memphis. And both those coaches, Ryan Silverfield and John, along with Alex Golish,
the Memphis coach feels like he's just about the Arkansas coach.
Yeah,
Silverfield.
Well, that's I saw a report last night. I didn't know where it was coming from. It was in a Facebook group that I'm in where it said that Silverfield is considered, I guess, the heavy favorite all of a sudden.
Yeah, and
that he's going to go to Arkansas after Memphis's run, wherever that may end, and hopefully their playoff hopes will be extinguished tonight by the Tulane Green Wave.
256-576-4977 is the telephone number. We'll take our second time out. In fact, I got a couple of bits of audio in case you missed it from earlier in the week. Plus, we'll talk a little more Alabama LSU. Can this game fly a little bit more under the radar this week? 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We are talking about the chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Best chance for that is going to come this evening, and then as we head into the overnight, that could have an impact on some high school football games. Temperatures this afternoon, though, going to be quite pleasant, climbing into the 70s, dropping into the mid-50s as we head into the overnight. Chance of rain again on Saturday, temperatures in the 70s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, Arthur Seed, managing partner at University Kia, letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama and Auburn football. Swing by University Kia today and check out our huge selections of brand new Kias, including the spacious Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the slick new K5, the sporty Kia Seltos. We've got perfect cars for every lifestyle and budget. Visit universitykia.com to view all our amazing offers and get pre-approved amenities, because we want to see you in a Kia. Roll Tide, War Eagle.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
I'm here with Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor or leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talkin Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Talking Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Weekday mornings beginning at 7 a.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It is a Friday morning edition of Talkin' Ball. Drew DeArmond, Steve Moulton, as well as our guy Brody behind the glass. How good of a job is the Auburn job? And I know Brody is a big Auburn fan, but another factor could be how Lane Kiffin started his press conference on Monday with what affects the Oxford crowd sometimes.
I actually asked the question afterwards. I didn't know, so I went into the staff and I asked the hunting thing. I'm like, because I do feel like it's around this time and there's always a game, and I'd be like, man, how come like people aren't here? And they're like, I don't know, first day of whitetail or something, wood duck, something. And like, they're like, Saturday is actually not a first day of something, but they did say this is the first week of squirrel hunting. And I did learn you're allowed 8 a day. Is that right? Yeah. So.
All right, you can start us off.
8 a day. Rabbit and squirrel season goes on until March 1st. So, yeah, 8 a day. 8 a day. Can't get more than 8 a day in squirrel season.
I didn't even know there was a squirrel season there.
I didn't know either.
No.
So, at least that's how the press conference started on Monday in Oxford.
No, now we've had a producer in the past. Squirrel!
See, he dodged the bullet, probably literally.
No, I don't know. And that's not you, bro. I mean, it's
no. It's,
we've had a couple.
He's paying attention.
No, we've had 2 or 3 of them. Honestly,
huh?
It's like the Newhart show. My brother Daryl and my other brother Daryl. Oh my goodness,
Bambino. Good morning to you, sir. Appreciate you holding.
Thank you for holding, sir.
Oh, come on, Bambino.
You there? We got you.
So this actually happened earlier in the week.
Yeah, he's on, but he's not there.
Okay. All good. Thank you, Brody.
Yeah, we had one. We had one go to sleep.
We and then I had someone message me saying putting people to sleep for over a decade. Like, you know what? That should be our motto here. Been putting people to sleep for the last 15 plus years.
Call us back, Bambino.
256-576-4977, the telephone number. And there was another press conference quote that did make me think of you, Drew DeArmond. Enter Mike Elko.
Mike, you've seen 4 of your colleagues get fired already this year. Any thoughts on what appeared? You're not going anywhere. Stop.
Yeah, there you go.
He kept knocking, baby.
I mean, I need to patent that, But hey, knock on wood if you're with me.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Ryan Grubb, Nick Sheridan went to see him,
Here is what Mike Elko had to say on that subject.
And that's John Gruden.
Anyway, any thoughts about, what seems to be an increasingly quick trigger to get rid of guys that have otherwise had some fairly decent success?
Yeah, I think you're giving a good platform for me to make a case for myself, so I'm going to do that right now. I think this is what I've said a lot about this, and I really truly believe this, Mark. I think people are having a really hard time adjusting to what is becoming a new era of college football. Like if you look at the SEC, I was just reading some of these stats. I think I read somewhere that there's been like 27 one-score games in the SEC this year, more than we've had in a really long time. I think there were 6 games last week. 5 of them came down to one-score games. The parity in this conference is at an all-time high. And so when you look at it week in and week out, I think people are still looking for the days when the best team went out and won by 40 every week. And, 12-0, 11-1 were kind of the standard of what was good. I think a lot of us as coaches have continued to try to preach like it's not the same feeling anymore. It doesn't feel like that's what's really good. What's really good is finding a way to win enough games to get yourself into the playoff where you have a chance to go make a run at this thing. And I think, I just think that's how modern college football is. And much like you see in the NFL happen, you see more spikes and swings. Team makes the Super Bowl, maybe doesn't make the playoff the next year, bounces back and goes to the Super Bowl. You see that consistently at times in the NFL because of the parity, because of how hard it is to win. That's what's creeping into college football. And I'm not sure that everyone from a fan base, from a supporter has identified that. And so my opportunity to maybe preach.
Interesting to note, that is a head coach of an undefeated 3rd-ranked team in the country. Mm-hmm. He is not talking about positioning himself to win an SEC championship. He is talking right there about situating his program to make a run in the playoffs, which does, at least to me, lead more down the road of that conversation we were having about eliminating championship weekend. Feels like it could be real when I hear stuff like that.
Well, I don't think they'll ever do that because of the money.
Well, but if there's more money to be gained for, say, play-in games,
well,
that, you know what I'm saying? More opportunities for more teams to be playoff teams.
Well,
it does feel like making the playoff is a bigger deal than winning your conference championship.
But I don't think you get in many cases. Now, it may be that way down the stretch, but in future seasons. But I still think conference championship games help you. It certainly, if you get there, to me, you're already. It's almost a play-in game, but in most, especially in the SEC, I think the two teams that get there are both in. Now, in the other conferences like the ACC, the Big 12, then it's a play-in game from the standpoint the winner gets in, the loser probably goes home.
Yeah,
but you still get there though, and so and again, look, man. All I'll just say is in this era of money and NIL and the transfer portal and everything.
Yeah.
Well, then look, I don't want to hear it. Look, Vanderbilt has been a top 10 team all year. Texas Tech been the best run they've had this season since Mike Leach.
That's right.
BYU has been very good. They've stepped up their deal. You can improve, and then guys like or teams like Georgia Tech. I know they just stubbed their toe, but they've been considered a playoff team most of the season.
They have a chance to get back in with their schedule.
We saw SMU make it last year, and we've already talked about Indiana ad nauseum this morning. There's a lot of schools that in the past, if all things being equal, there wasn't NIL and the transfer portal, these programs would be mediocre to not good and wouldn't even be in the conversation.
Yeah.
So to me, I still think conference championship games have value. And again, in some cases like Ohio State and Indiana, the value too is in the past, in the other systems, somebody brought this up with Alabama and Florida and Alabama and LSU and all these. A lot of times that would be an elimination game. Like you're not going to make a 2-team or a 4-team playoff. Now, even if you lose, you're going to make both going to make the playoffs, and you may have a chance to even see them again down the road.
Yeah.
Like what the projection this week had Alabama and Georgia potentially meeting in the semifinals, or excuse me,
quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals, and which would be epic and be must-see television. So this is a new world, but I still think they're going to find a way to keep the conference championship games. The bottom line is the rest of these leagues in the country, and
what would be more valuable money-wise? Would it be play-in games or championship weekend?
Well, look,
I mean,
I understand that, but I still think play-in games adds value to the regular season. In other words, you might be in playoff mode. From the 6th or 7th game on, if you lose a game early. So,
I mean, by the way, it's November 7th, and we're creeping up on December for those. I know this is Captain Obvious right here, but I say that to say that the college football playoff still has yet to reveal what they're going to do, and that date, I think it's December 3rd, if memory serves, is right around the corner. And I know that was their deadline on what they'd like to do moving forward, but it does. I'm thinking that conversation is really going to happen. When I hear coaches, I mean, think about the situation A&M is in, and he's undefeated with a golden opportunity to get to Atlanta to play for an SEC championship, and he's talking about the playoffs.
Well, yeah, but I will say this too. If you get there undefeated, you ain't got to worry about anything. You're in the playoffs.
By the way, I do feel obligated to play this following Lane Kiffin's comments from earlier in the segment.
Sir, is an investigated fabrication. It's Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. Wabbit season. Duck season. Wabbit season. I say it's duck season, and I say fire.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, it's
what a great segue to go to the phone lines and welcome Floyd to the show.
Good morning, Floyd.
How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Good.
We appreciate you for calling, man. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. I know I haven't called a whole lot recently, but I do listen just about every day, and I didn't know if you guys had touched on Woodrow Lowe passing.
Yeah, we haven't had a chance to talk about that on this show.
It was my rundown, yeah.
Yeah, the Woodrow Lowe, arguably one of the top 3, 4, 5 linebackers in Alabama history, a 3-time All-American, a guy that played 11 years with the San Diego Chargers. When you hear other great players that are considered all-time Bama greats like Barry Krause talk about Woodrow Lowe and the tones that they do, he was one of the all-timers, certainly. He from Central Phoenix City, and what a great player he was for Coach Bryant. And there's no question that the impact he had on Alabama football. There's certain guys, when you think of their number, he was number 47, at Alabama. That's a lot. No matter who wears the number, you're always going to think of Woodrow Lowe, and certainly that's who I think of. And he in the early to mid 70s, he was the dude, and he helped Alabama start that run to being dominant. And there's a thing, I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about Woodrow Lowe, and I never had the honor of meeting him, but it's tough. In the last year, you've lost 2 of the all-time, really in the last several months. You lost arguably the 2 greatest middle linebackers in Alabama history, in Leroy Jordan and now Woodrow Lowe.
Yeah, he did make an impression on me. I actually I got to play in the high school all-star game, and it was in Tuscaloosa that year. And
yes, sir.
I was in the locker room getting ready to go out to practice one day, and some guy walks up behind me and says, "Hey, man, you down here for the all-star game?" And I said, "Yes." And he reached out his hand, and introduced himself, and it was that's who it was, Woodrow Lowe. And I was like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, no question.
But, he was a very personable fella, but he was different on the field, that's for sure.
He certainly was, Floyd.
But,
no doubt.
All right, Floyd.
Just wanted to say thanks. Y'all have a great show. So
thank you, Floyd. I appreciate that.
Let's go ahead and take our final time out here of hour number 1. We'll talk a little more Wabbit season on the other side. Good morning. It is Talkin' Ball here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 256-202-4200. That's 256-202-4200.
Annuities, non-advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal. And we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Pleasant good Friday morning to you. Steve Moulton filling in for Scott Tyson, although he will be here in this chair tonight for the Woody Anderson Ford Scoreboard Show, powered by Lake Gunnersville Ace Hardware. Had some games last night. Congratulations to Priceville.
Yes.
Just
overtime.
Saw the
ending of that. That's some dramatic stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure sick days might be utilized at Gunnersville High School today. Although, honestly, I mean, that's a heck of a program that Lance Reese has. And it just that's a tough one to take last night.
Yeah, good friend Matt Patterson, the OC over there. And
that's right.
They are very consistently good. It matters to them. They've got new facilities that they're finishing over there.
Oh, they'll be back.
And they certainly will. And you just feel for those young people, but you also laud Priceville for not giving up and continuing to grind. And that's what the whole why you practice, why you work the way you do. And again, congratulations to Seth Parker in that program.
Let's try to squeeze in Richard before our top of the hour break. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
Hey, morning, guys. Talking about the football playoffs and the SEC championship game. One thing too is just one more game to get injured.
Well, that was real last year. Georgia lost their starting quarterback in the championship game last year.
I mean, so the more the more games you play, the more the better chance you have of getting injured. So that's to me, you're taking a chance on your SEC teams, or the Big Ten. These teams that play at conference championship, knocking their better players out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like I said, I mean, you want to be able, you want to be healthy going into the playoffs in there and not injured at all. So, but like I said, like Drew said, it's money, but at a certain point, sometimes it may be better, to not get in it and and be healthy going into the playoffs.
Yeah. Load management. Could that possibly be something what we're talking about down the road?
Yeah,
around college football.
You're right, Richard. We haven't had a chance to really focus on Alabama.
Alabama tomorrow.
Yeah.
In the Garden against our early tip-off, 11 a.m.
Against a very old Saint. I don't know if you saw. I saw a little bit. This is the first step is admitting I have a problem. I watched a little bit of the St. John's Quinnipiac game, from earlier in the week, and St. John's looks like they're like almost NBA team in terms of age. There's a lot of experience there.
I mean, Alabama definitely. Go ahead, Richard.
I was going to say they had the #1 portal class, which usually means getting older guys.
Yep.
You have the #1 portal.
Well,
class,
they look old.
Yeah, and I mean they got some inside guys, and Alabama basically has none.
Yeah, Alabama plays so much 5 out, and they're going to need Aiden Sherrill. They're going to need Noah Williams, who I thought did a under the radar good job in his first game. They're going to need all of those guys. They need Bristow healthy. They need Aiden Holloway. They need Latrell Wright. So they're going to have to speed up St. John's. It's hard to. It's kind of funny to say that because Rick Pitino being known for playing up-tempo basketball and shooting a lot of threes. But it's going to be a tough matchup for Alabama. It's going to be really interesting at 11 a.m. inside Madison Square Garden.
Thank you, Richard. We are up against it. Later. We'll talk a little Madison Academy football right after this.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
DJ Durkin on the sideline as Auburn's interim head coach after the firing of Hugh Freeze, who went 15-19, 6-16 in Southeastern Conference play. Auburn Tigers tomorrow visiting Vanderbilt as a 7-point underdog at First Bank Stadium in Nashville, where the total is 45.5. Alabama Crimson Tide looking for their 17th consecutive win at Bryant-Denny Stadium. They're laying 10.5 against LSU tomorrow. Tigers have an interim head coach after the firing of Brian Kelly. Frank Wilson, the interim for the Tigers. College basketball tonight. Troy, a 2.5-point road dog at Furman. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour 2 rolls along. Steve Moulton filling in for Scott Tyson this Friday morning. Playoffs started last night across the state of Alabama, and we've talked quite a bit about the comeback win for Priceville on the road at Guntersville, and there was quite a few other games going on last night. But this hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They invite you to give them a call today at 256-881-5151 to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives. Well, Drew, it is time for the playoffs, as we'll see quite a few more games, including over on Talk Radio WZZN tonight, where I'll be on the call for Madison Academy taking on Hatton.
Yeah, this is going to be a big game, and no question, our next guest, he's been on many a big-time playoff run, but I know he was probably watching intently last night. As around the state, we've a big topic of conversation, as Steve has said, has been the epic comeback for Priceville and Seth Parker against Guntersville, a program that had a great regular season and had done a great job positioning themselves. But you have to finish games. That's what's so important at this time of year, and being able to do that. This is a very young Madison Academy team, but one that's, I think, come a long way since week 0. And their game at Mars Hill. Mars Hill, of course, taking care of Whitesburg Christian Academy last night, but kudos to Mars Hill. They're the defending 3A champs. Congrats to Jerry Adcock for making the first playoff run in the history of that school. But our next guest is looking forward to hopefully making one of his own, and that's Bob Godsey. And we always enjoy his weekly visits, courtesy of SportsMed Surgery and Spine Center, which and they do an outstanding job, and as does Coach Godsey, and he's with us now. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
We're doing pretty good. And Coach, I know you're getting locked in, and you're focusing on your squad and what they need to do to beat Nikita Stover and the Hatton Hornets. But we kind of talked about it for much of the first hour. We had someone call in. These games, these playoff games, can turn quickly, and we saw it last night where it looked like Guntersville had a game with 1 minute and 50 seconds to go, up 2 scores. It looked like they had it locked in, and you just never know.
You don't. Like I said, as long as there's time left on the clock, you still got a chance. And I think that's a great lesson. You're teaching young people just, you got to keep playing. regardless of what happens, what goes on, you just got to keep playing. And, certainly that's what, Priceville did. They got their opportunities, and the score wasn't the same. It was, kind of a little bit reminiscent of being at North Jackson, a few weeks ago, or where you just keep playing, and when you get your opportunities, you seize those moments.
Mm-hmm. Well, and here you go, Coach. Of down the stretch here, how well do you think your team has performed the last handful of weeks?
Well, I thought we played better last week than maybe we did the previous couple of weeks. Whether it was getting some guys back off of injury or just finding our stride. I mean, you're gonna go through the ebbs and flows through a season, and especially when you have a younger team that has never experienced that before. They're navigating how to handle it, and so we were kind of, I don't know, kind of blah. I felt like that last week we kind of got our mojo back a little bit, and we'll certainly need it to tonight. The whole thing is geared about playing your best football come this time of year. That's the whole thing. And, if you can figure out how to do that, obviously, and bottle it and sell it, you can make a lot of money. So that's the quest from everybody is you want to be playing your best ball at this time of year.
Well, and Coach, I know you had to feel good about your offensive balance last week. And I know in playoff football, you want to be able to control the line of scrimmage and run the ball, and you ran the ball very well against Westminster last week. And Charleston has had a good year. He threw the football well also. And as you've said, you've seen him get better each week. And if you can have some offensive balance tonight, because Hatton's an athletic, very explosive team, I think that'll be one of the keys.
Well, it will be, and you got to throw in weather and what is that going to be like tonight and all that type thing. You have to make adjustments, and then at the same time, you got to play regardless of the situation. The weather, the rain, the wet, the dry, all of that is going to be the same for both teams, and but that is part of it. Which team will handle it the best? But I do think we have become a little more balanced as over the last couple of weeks as Dalen has kind of worked himself into being a little more comfortable and with two pretty much 200-yard games, and as people try to do things, I guess, to limit Charleston on the perimeter, that opens up some things for him inside, which is the way you want it. You got to be balanced and be able to take kind of what they give you. But you're right about having extremely athletic. Have two running backs that are as good as any one that we've seen this year, and tackling them will be obviously at a premium. We can tackle them, then obviously things will go a lot better for us. But we're going to have to score some points as well.
Well, I know injuries have played a key factor as well on this team, Coach. Of just how do you think as a whole your team has handled that type of adversity this season, Coach?
Well, I think I complimented our team yesterday after we finished practice. This has kind of been one of those years, even with this week, are we going to move the game up to Thursday, or we're going to keep it on Friday? There's been a lot of distractions, whether it's been weather, whether it's been injuries, whether it's been, discipline issues or things of that nature. There's been a lot of stuff that can affect a team, but probably the personality of this team, if anything else, is they've handled all of that, especially being a young group, extremely well. And that's kudos to our senior class that has, kind of helped this group navigate through that. You get enough adversities thrown your way without creating things for yourself sometimes. But, just the uncertainty, for example, going through this week, whether we're going to play on Thursday or Friday, this group has been able to handle those things up to this point about as well as possible.
Yeah, and Coach, there's no doubt that you have a special relationship. We've kind of talked about it during the week. This is interesting because Nikita Stover's in his first year there. He did a good job at Decatur Heritage, but of course you coached him at Hartselle. And I know at one point he was involved in your youth programs over there at Hartselle as well, helping develop some of your younger players to come into that program. But talk about kind of seeing him mature and evolve as a head coach.
Well, as we were talking Saturday, he's done an excellent job, I think, at Hatton. I mean, they're very well coached, and he has a passion for that, and obviously has a skill for that. He's done an excellent job, whatever level that he's been at, whether it's been in the youth leagues, whether it's been, in high school, whether it's personal training and things of that nature. And he and I talk about his senior year was my first year at Hartselle, so by the time the season was over, we still really didn't know one another. We knew each other much better come spring and going through the recruiting stuff and all of that, where we really kind of got to know each other more or better as he's graduating and moving on. And then our paths have crossed several times, but he's done an outstanding job at Hatton and kind of uniting the community there with 3 schools and things of that nature, in one year. And like I said, they're extremely athletic, something that we're going to have to obviously contend with.
Well, Coach, if you mention the Town Creek area, I mean, there is a great lineage and history of athletic prowess you mentioned their athletic ability. What else stands out about the Hornets, honestly, Coach?
Well, they're well coached. I mean, they do what they do. They do it well. They get lined up and they're sound in what they do. They may not do a whole lot of stuff on offense or defense, but they're very sound in what they do, and they do it very well. They got good guys to do it with. So, they have a quarterback as well, and things doesn't go, like you want them to. He's certainly capable of pulling the ball down and causing you issues. So, defensively, once again, they got guys that run to the ball and tackle well. And, I mean, they're good. They could easily be a champion somewhere. They were in a tough region over there, and they've beaten some good people. Their losses have been to really good people. And in all tight games. So, it's a playoff game. It's anybody. I think this year, especially in 4A, when you look at the North, last night or that first round bracket, I saw 1 or 2 where, they were kind of gimmies. I think the rest of them were, as it showed last night, they're going to be super competitive games.
Yeah.
The team that's able to come up with those couple of plays like we were talking about earlier at the end of the game are going to be the ones that move on.
Mm-hmm. And Coach, for your team defensively, it was you talked about it early in the season when you were visiting with us about how many sophomores you were playing, and you've even played some 8th graders, some very talented young people. How much progress have you seen, and how did you think they played last week, especially because you talked about playing your best football now, but talk about the outlook going into tonight.
Well, I think we've played, defensively better and better each week. The key is being able to have a group that's together enough to work together to learn each other. And I think we'll be about as close to full strength tonight as we've been in a while. Still have a couple of guys that are missing. We've talked about AJ before that's out for the season, and he was a big part of our defensive front and having to adjust there. But I think we're playing as well defensively as we've played all year. Last week was an example of that. We played very well for 3 quarters at Plainview, who has scored a bunch of points. And then it kind of got away from us. But, I'm ecstatic in terms of where we started to where we finished with a young group, sitting here at 8-2 and finished second in the region. And with the amount of sophomores, freshmen, and, even 8th graders we played with an opportunity to get a win tonight and move on. I think this group is our goal has been to keep growing, and that's what they've done all year.
I cannot help but want to focus on Cam Wilson and his growth and development along the defensive front this year in particular, Coach?
Well, I think so. I mean, Cam is probably the one guy that does have experience up there. One of the things I think that has helped Cam is Slate Glover, who's been an offensive lineman for us, has moved over and playing defense now, and which allows us to slide Cam down to the nose, and I think that's helped Cam. I think he's enjoyed that. That's freed him up a little bit more. He's been a lot more visible and been able to affect games more at the nose, and I think that's both of those guys on defense has really helped us, as well as our growth. Jace Gaines is really started to get better as he got healthy. He played, most of the year on one leg, and as he's gotten healthy here the last couple of weeks, his play's really, really improved as well.
Yeah, and then, Coach, I know you mentioned it earlier in the conversation, and we haven't talked about it much, but certainly there is a chance for inclement weather tonight. You talked about that's been part of the distraction that you've had to prepare for. But certainly both teams will have to go through and have the same conditions. But how did it affect preparation for Hatton with their speed, their athleticism, and the potential for inclement weather?
Well, I mean, you're preparing for it to be, perfect weather and prepare for, all of the different scenarios. I guess it benefits them. Some people say with it being, a little bit sloppy and wet. I don't see the field being as sloppy maybe as it was last week, even though it wasn't raining. I think the field will be fine and that type of thing. But once again, that's just part of it. That's one of the things that makes football such a great sport, such a great learning experience and a great teaching tool is that you got to handle elements as well as the other team, and just once again, what a great opportunity for our team to grow.
Well, Coach, I'm looking forward to it. There's nothing quite like playoff football, and I mean, keep in mind that this is now 7 years in a row for you of making the playoffs, and that this is not a right. It's earned, and again,
especially when you play at home,
well earned indeed for this team, Coach.
Well, it is. Like I said, I'm just ecstatic for this group of guys. They have worked hard, they've improved, they've overcome, and it hadn't been, the cookie cutter easy path, and whatever's come their way, they've handled it and moved on, and whatever comes our way tonight, I think will be the same way. Where this group will handle it, whether it's a win or a loss or growing experience. It's another great opportunity for these guys. And, at the end of the night, we'll all be better for it.
Yeah, I think, and we hope by the end of the night that the Madison Academy Mustangs are marching on to round 2 of, the Class 4A playoffs. But it'll be Steve Moulton, Glenn Laird on the call. You'll be able to hear it here on 97.7 The Zone, where we've been for
Talk Radio.
On Talk Radio,
yeah.
Yes. And we've been honored to be the home of the Mustangs for the last 7 years, the entire tenure of Bob Godsey. But, Coach, we certainly look forward to the game tonight. We look forward to your squad competing, and it's always great to have the visits with you, and we certainly hope we're talking next week.
I hope so too, guys. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.
That is Coach Bob Godsey. There's nothing quite like those Friday Night Lights, but it's always ramped up to another level when you get into postseason play. It's just that old adage is true. The older you get, the quicker these seasons roll past you. And
well, I mean, and again, they didn't get the result they wanted, but again, our team of the week this week was Whitesburg Christian Academy. That was huge for that program, especially when you
making
consider,
the playoffs.
What they're in 3A Region 8 and who they and
goodness,
you're talking about Sand Mountain. Which, that's five. That's
Geraldine.
That's Collinsville. That's tough.
Yeah,
and they were able to make the playoffs. In Coach Adcock's second year. It's big for that program. Certainly it was a very tough loss last night on the road at Mars Hill.
I get that. I do.
But that was a very tough matchup. And a lot of times the styles make fights, and you can have a very tough one. This is an interesting one tonight just simply because of Hatton's athletic ability and their speed. But, I've always said this. I've been watching Bob Godsey's team since he was at Hartselle. They're so tough to move the ball on. They do such a great job of playing fundamental defense, and you have to earn everything, and that's what they're going to have to make Hatton do tonight. But kudos to Nikita Stover in year 1. getting Hatton back to the playoffs. But it's going to be a great atmosphere. Hopefully, the weather will be serviceable. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's certainly looking like there could be some dicey weather, but we're looking forward to it. And we're looking forward to being on 97.7 The Zone tonight with Buckhorn and David Green. They're making in his first year 7-3, it was their best season in 18 years. And they've got a very tough draw at Hartselle. Bob Godsey's former school, Coach Newton has done a great job. And, we're looking forward to
always a good atmosphere at JP Kane. It's been a minute since I've been there.
I've been there too, but Bergen's done a good job and looking forward to it.
Really miss calling games over there. It's always a very special environment. Let's take our first time out here in hour number 2. Phone lines open to you. It's a Friday morning edition of Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your number one choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
You'll love the expanded wine selection at Liquor Express. From special occasion to everyday table wines, they've got what you need. Meet your friends at the largest tap wall in Alabama with 105 rotating selections. Then take home a growler full of your favorite or choose from our 1,000 canned or bottled beers. Need help stocking your bar or planning your party? Liquor Express has a knowledgeable, professional in-house staff that can assist you with anything from your bar to the planning of your special event. Visit liquorexpress.net for tasting specials, giveaways, and classes.
Does it really matter which dealership you buy from? Short answer, yes it does. Hello, I'm Don Wessels for Woody Anderson Ford. Before you buy, take just a minute to check out the dealership itself, because where you buy can make all the difference. Sure, customer reviews tell you what others think, and that's good. But when Ford Motor Company itself recognizes a dealer, that's something special. Woody Anderson Ford has earned Ford's Triple Crown Award, an honor achieved by only the top 1% of Ford dealers in America. It's based on superior customer satisfaction, sales excellence, and exceptional service performance. In other words, the best of the best. So when you're ready for your next car, truck, or SUV, come see how we earned our Triple Crown status. Superior service, sales excellence, over-the-top delivery, that's Woody Anderson Ford. And we hope to see you soon.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games. And if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title. Because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
This is your home for Alabama football.
Jam Miller, the running back, will get the handoff. He'll stay on his feet. He'll turn it up. He'll go down the sideline. 10-5, touchdown, Alabama. Jam Miller, icing on the cake.
This is 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Ryan Fowler is set to join us in about 10 minutes' time. We've got time to squeeze in a call or two. 256-576-4977. For those of you watching on WZZN TV, this is why I am drinking from a Chick-fil-A cup this morning, is in honor of Ryan Fowler. If you know, you know. All right. It is being reported. You tell me what you think about this, Trudy Armand. 256-576-4977. The Ringer's Todd McShay believes that current South Carolina quarterback Lenora Sellers will not enter the NFL draft. Instead, he will enter the portal and head down to Coral Gables to be the Miami quarterback in 2026.
Why the hell would he do that?
Money.
I understand that, but how has that worked out for all these quarterbacks before him? Is all I know. Cam Ward went number one. Blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
But how many playoff games did he play in? And Carson Beck's not going to play in any either. And so, look, I understand Cam had a good year, but it's the jury is still out without what kind of pro he's going to be. So, but I understand, I guess, because
I hear Titans fans yelling at the radio right now
because he went number one overall, and Lenora Sellers thinks he's going to do the same thing. Well, I wouldn't just guarantee that yet. I would think Shane Beamer has a good relationship with Lenoris, and they certainly are going to have to get unshoeled and go, find an offensive coordinator that can work. I would think that Shane, and he's a great recruiter, would be working in lockstep, trying to find a good fit for Lenoris and bring someone in to help develop him. I don't care that Cam Ward went number one overall in the draft. I think he has a chance to be a good player. But all I'd say is the Miami Hurricanes are going to play in the same amount of playoff games that the South Carolina Gamecocks have played in. And South Carolina almost made the playoffs as well last year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
all I'm trying to say is the grass isn't always greener, because while it worked out for Cam Ward, it hasn't worked out for Carson Beck. Carson Beck is a choke artist who is overrated. I mean,
blasphemous.
I know that. And I love Brooks Austin. I love the work he does. He used to always talk about the way that Carson Beck could process. I just know one thing. I watched him throw a lot of interceptions last year at Georgia.
Yeah.
He did not play well. Chuck Oliver, who I respect so much, you can hear the Chuck Oliver show here daily on 97.7 The Zone. He made a great point this week with Chernoff. He said, look, I was there in the SEC championship game. I saw when Carson Beck got hurt and went out, and how the bench exploded when they put in Gunnar Stockton, and how he rallied the troops and they still won the game. So, I've never been a believer in Beck. I saw him last year do the same thing against Alabama, throw the game away. And then I just didn't think he had a great year a year ago. And then this year at Miami, he's been very, very average in the big games. What I'll say about Beck is I think he's tapped out. I think he hit his ceiling. I don't think now certainly Lenora Sellers hasn't hit his ceiling.
Yeah,
I think he's a superb athlete, great size, great ability to throw the football. But all I'm saying is, if you're just going for the money for Miami, what coaching have you seen like Shannon Dawson and them do where they've developed a quarterback? I haven't seen that. So if I'm Lenora Sellers, I'm not going to Miami just because they're going to give me $3 or $4 million. I'm going to go somewhere else where, maybe I can, if I go.
Would it be better to be the University of Miami's quarterback or the New York Jets quarterback? I mean
I wouldn't want to be either, but I would just let me abstain. But
can I go see none of the above?
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. I mean, I would do what Big C did on the radio this week.
Yeah,
go to sleep.
Take a nap.
I mean,
take a nap.
I'd rather just haven't taken naps are great. I mean,
aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
going to have to get one today because
and then
it's going to be a long day for both of us.
I think Lenora Sellers, he holds the cards. I mean,
yeah.
You can see what the NFL scouts think of you. You can also look around and see what moves Shane Beamer may make. And then you can also look at the coaching carousel and see who lands where. I mean, I understand he's only got like a 10-day window, but you can still get a pretty good idea who's going to be where, the quarterback development, what they've done at the QB position, how they've developed guys and gotten them into the NFL. Cam Ward, well, I guess you can say, okay, well, Miami got a guy number 1 overall. Yeah, but Carson Beck sure as hell doesn't look like that.
No, it does not.
And so I just, to me, I would be a little leery of it. I'd be very fascinated to see, like, for example, if Elijah Drinkwitz went to Florida, Lenora Sellers at Florida would be very, very interesting. But then what happens to DJ Lagway, who has totally regressed this year?
We'll head down to Tuscaloosa on the other side of our next time out. It's time to dive a little bit more into this under the radar game. I cannot remember a year where we've talked less about Alabama LSU than we have this week.
I mean, Ryan Clark was trying to pump himself up on the set of ESPN.
But Booger yesterday on PTI was giving LSU a chance.
Well, they do have a chance. I think they're going to play their best game.
Very talented team.
They always do.
But we'll see whether or not Nussmeier will throw it to the correct colored jerseys Saturday night as well.
You mean Carson Beck's cousin?
Ryan Fowler next here on Talkin' Ball.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky this afternoon. We are talking about the chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Best chance for that is going to come this evening, and then as we head into the overnight, that could have an impact on some high school football games. Temperatures this afternoon, though, going to be quite pleasant, climbing into the 70s, dropping into the mid-50s as we head into the overnight. Chance of rain again on Saturday, temperatures in the 70s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. Great news! This offer is now extended through the end of December. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at All About Water. Crazy name, huh? Well, let me introduce you to them. All About Water is the top pond builder anywhere in the Tennessee Valley, and that includes remodeling or cleaning out existing ponds as well. They also have monthly maintenance plans for your pond. Don't have a pond? Well, how about a fountain or water feature for your property to bring that soothing sound of running water to your happy place? On the other hand, Maybe you have water on your property that you don't want. Well, Ryan at All About Water is all about water, so he could take care of that as well. He has a background in fluid dynamics, and what that means is that he can take care of any water issue that you have. Finally, how about that irrigation system that you have or that you want? Well, they do installs and maintenance and repairs on those as well because they are all about water. Learn more at allaboutwaterllc.com. That's allaboutwaterllc.com.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel & McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Spend my dollar, park in a holler, needs a mountain moonlight. Hold her up tight, make a little loving, a little turn it up.
I know if I talk over this is like Ryan Fowler just probably saying, I'm not supposed to talk over this song.
Right.
I mean,
well, we always enjoy catching up with our next guest. He's a host of the longest running radio show in the City of Champions, The Game. It's always an honor to be a part of that.
Mr. Chick-fil-A.
Of course, he's a part of Tide 109. It's been a very tough week in Tuscaloosa because this has been a really hard year for Alabama football. We already talked about, Leroy Jordan passing away.
That's right.
We had Floyd call in from he was an outstanding player with Lenny Patrick at Walker County, which is AKA now Jasper High School. And he talked about his interaction with the great Woodrow Lowe. We lose him after a long, illness. There's been a lot of tragedy. And then, and of course, a great friend of Ryan's and our patriarch West neighbors, Brian Harden, lost him this week. A huge advocate for the University of Alabama. Thoughts and prayers out to them, the Anderson family, with the plane crash over at Huntsville High. They were, great people. It's just been a very, very tough one. Life is precious. Yeah. You never know. And so that's kind of been the message this week to, treasure your time because you never know when it's going to be up. And again, but we always enjoy visiting with Ryan Fowler. He's carved out some time for us. And Ryan, we were talking about this before we went to break. This has really been an unusual week in the fact that I know LSU hasn't had the year everyone thought, but there's not been a lot of buzz in the air about this game like we usually see.
I think outside of the locker room, there has been a lack of buzz. But I promise you, inside that practice facility, there's been a buzz. And this is going to, when you look at Auburn, for the fans, it will always be. And I'll be very curious to see if this rivalry continues at the same level of intensity. Sometimes it was defending Coach Saban, in front of his previous team. But LSU had become, a big rival. I sat down with Jonathan Allen.
Yeah.
And one of I'll give you guys a little bit of insight. They don't want anybody to try to out Alabama them. That's what Jonathan Allen. So I'm not like I'm quoting. He was truly on an interview.
Yeah.
But you always watch it, and for Alabama and Auburn, for the fans, it will always be number one. But inside that locker room, for the last 17, 18, 19 years, it's been LSU. And I think a lot of it's just the respect they have for LSU, and you see it because they play up a level. Okay, when you look at Auburn, they respect them, but not to the level of LSU. A lot of the kids. Players, I'm not meaning that disrespectful, they have ties back to the state of Louisiana. We built a dynasty off a lot of Louisiana players. So I think it's some of that too. But it's a rivalry that's inside that locker room. Guys, it's intense. But I agree with you. But I will tell you this. I've got a bunch of restaurants that sponsor my show. they are expecting their biggest weekend of this weekend from catering that have already been placed, the preparation. LSU fans are still traveling to Tuscaloosa, regardless. I mean, listen, I've got them coming in today that are friends of mine that will be arriving here in Tuscaloosa today. So this town, I think it'll crank up. I don't think you're going to see a flat crowd. I think they'll piggyback off this, understanding that LSU's got really nothing to lose coming into this game, and I'm sure they want to play tough for Frank Wilson.
Coming off the South Carolina game, then this bye week, what's the biggest question you have about this Alabama team heading into this matchup, Ryan?
Sometimes a halftime break will, it'll hurt you to get your rhythm. It'll mess it up. I want to see if Alabama can pick back up with the rhythm that they had really prior to the South Carolina, because we used the South Carolina as an excuse, and it was a valid excuse. I want to see if Alabama can take the rhythm and try to find a way to get back offensively in that rhythm, okay? Then can you add, were you able to do some things in practice, in self-scout, that you can now run the football a little bit? And I know we were part of the SEC teleconference. Matter of fact, it was your question. And you asked about the offensive line. He took you to the rushing attack. He talked about it. It's on everybody's mind about running the football. And I know the short passes can be an extension of that. But as you get deeper into this run, if you're going to go win a national title, you got to at least run the football where other teams respect you. They're doing it, and at times it doesn't make sense why it has not worked. We had analytic guy on yesterday talking about Caden Brocker, best run blocking, at his position in the entire country. Pass protection is not really been a strength, but neither is run blocking. You almost go back, is it the backs? So I want to see Alabama get in rhythm, and if they can add a few elements, if they can rush just consistently, you don't have to be Derrick Henry 2015, but just rush it where other teams respect it. And guys, we're talking about a pretty dangerous football team in Tuscaloosa offensively. And then the defense continues to grow, and let's see if Alabama picks up where they left off from that area. That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see tomorrow evening inside Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
No question. And I also want to I'm anxious to see, what new wrinkles they may have added during the bye week. I mean, I've been impressed with Ryan Grubb and their ability to adjust. And certainly I think LSU is going to give them their best shot. I took Alabama 37-27, but I still think Alabama's got the better team. And I want to see the progress this team continues to make defensively. We've seen Yanze Pierre kind of emerge as that pass rusher, but can someone else down the stretch? Because, see, these seasons now, if you make the playoff, are so long, you need to see guys come into their own. The last time we saw Keon Keeley, he was sacking the quarterback and maybe sending Lenore Settlers to the Miami to ruin his life. So we don't know, but certainly and then, like we've seen Dejon Lee kind of grow. Now, is that going to push Damani Jackson to step his game up? Because Damani's kind of been disappointing, but the emergence of guys as these seasons go on, it's almost like you play it in thirds now, Ryan, and you trying to see how healthy you can stay, and then what young players continue their development.
Yeah, no, and see, this is where it's going to pay dividends. Like if this rushing attack is able to crank up to a solid level, and also finding the deep ball. They're not a team that takes a lot of deep ball. And we had Thomas Morris on, which is Ty Simpson's personal quarterback coach last Friday. And he told us on the air, he said, the deep ball is Ty Simpson's best football. He said, that's his best ball that he throws. He said, that's his best throw. He said, so when you look at Ty Simpson, he said, he can't wait for that part. Now, what if you could get some of that? And some of that has been the way that teams are defending Alabama, because they're giving them some of that other stuff and saying, okay, you're not going to beat us over the top. You're not going to beat us over the top. And Alabama says, okay, fine, we'll just nickel and dime you. all the way down the field. And really, I think that's a good way that they've played complementary football, right? They've taken some pressure off of that defensive side of the football. And if you take so much time off the clock, especially now with the clock running the way that it does, I mean, if you get one of those long sustained drives, I mean, you can take a good percentage of the quarter off. So if you're able to score, quickly, you really don't have that luxury. So I look at this team and thinking about the number of guys they've played, unlike, and Coach Saban did it his way and it worked, obviously, with 6 national titles here in Tuscaloosa, 9 SEC titles. But also when you look at his was more of the NFL system where, I watch NFL on Sunday and they'll be up 3 touchdowns and 5 minutes to go and they still have their starting quarterback in. I'm just going, what? I mean, that was almost like what we witnessed in Tuscaloosa. And sometimes I always wondered if that was about recruiting, about not wanting to show the recruits how much depth they had. But it's just what Coach Saban did. For Kalen DeBoer, he rolls it out there. I mean, guys, he is not afraid to play this many players just everywhere.
Yeah.
That's got to pay dividends as this month of November arrives. For one, you've got experience, but also a lot of those guys should be fresh. I mean, and fresh from a way that most teams, think about 5 offensive linemen. 5 offensive linemen at different places have got to be pretty fatigued. Alabama has rotated so many of those different positions. You feel pretty good about the health overall of your offensive line. Yeah, you're going to have bumps and bruises, but I'm just talking about from a gas tank level.
Yeah.
That Alabama should be in good shape as they enter the month of November.
Well, and to that point,
for their first game, following the bye week.
To that point, at least 2 teams are going to have to be playing more than 2 months from right now. Wow. I mean, if you really wrap your head around that, the championship game is January the 19th. I mean, this is a marathon. And the injury report was updated last night. Whit Weeks is listed as doubtful. Ryan Williams is listed as probable. What have you taken as a whole of Ryan Williams' second go around in Tuscaloosa?
Well, he's beat up a lot. And I don't know if that's just because his body is just going to be one of those, or if he's got one of those guys that gives you 110%. And but he's dealing with something that happened in practice, and I'll let the board tell you exactly the injury, but it's not the typical thing that has aggravated him for the last couple of now it's probably going back to even prior preseason. He had a hamstring that he was kind of dealing with, but it's it seems to be that I think if you're asking me, I think he'll be good to go. I say good to go, at a percentage of not 100%, but I think Ryan Williams will be able to go. I think he'll. I've heard that he was able to do a lot more yesterday than he was able to do on Wednesday. So we'll see. Who knows? Injuries are tough to report on, and I know some of these guys have to report on because it's all about how your body responds. I mean, tomorrow morning he may wake up with soreness that he didn't have on a Friday, and you're going, no, he didn't respond. He didn't respond the way that we thought he would, and so injuries are so tough. But as we said right here on Friday morning, I expect that Ryan Williams will be able to go. It's just a guess, though. Nobody's told me that he would be able to go, but it's just an instinct, just following him, because we've kind of did this pattern for the last, few games. You just kind of understand, but different things. This one's a little bit different, and looks like he's progressed at a pretty rapid pace. Injury wise, other than that, they seem to be ahead of schedule. Isaiah Horton, Latair Brooks is going to be able to go. Derek Meadows is back. The good thing is, once again, we talked about depth a couple of minutes ago. They played so many guys that you feel comfortable. I mean, we're sitting here talking about Brooks, and he's a true freshman. But we've seen him so much that it's like you're comfortable with him. You feel like, okay, guys, it's a drop off, but it ain't that big of a drop off between Ron Williams and him. I mean, that he's been able to give you some things and give you some creativity. It's going to be fun to watch this last couple of weeks this season.
Well, and speaking of that, I know I was there Monday, and that they did open Nate Oates' 7th basketball season with a win, as they should have. They get an easy opening win over North Dakota. Has there been any conversation about St. John's at all?
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Torres brought it up, or I brought it up to Torres and made him talk about it. And he admitted to me, and I know Drew hates when I say this because most people are not as passionate as Drew. There's not another sport that gets off to a rougher start than college basketball. It just does.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets off to a sport that is just a challenge. And I know we've had some coaching legends that talked about starting it in January.
Yeah, because
May.
Yeah.
Because it's unfair to the athletes that put this type of grind in. And tomorrow at 11 o'clock, okay, I'm not talking about you and the Alabama fans. They will be watching a number 15 against the number 5. But there's also the media coverage.
Yeah.
Because I have to talk about, in Tuscaloosa, what people want to talk about. And it's college football. I mean, the playoff rankings on Tuesday was primarily the topic. What's it going to look like? Wednesday, primary topic. And even those coming off the bye week. So you almost feel like you're ripping Nate Oates off because you're not given the coverage that you're supposed to. Now, we carry the games. We carry, the pregame as well.
Yeah.
But it's just from a conversation driver, it just gets off to a rough start. College softball, when it starts. College baseball, when it starts. Obviously, college football. But it's in an overlap here where there's so many different things. You're wrapping up, Major League Baseball. You've got the NFL. You got college football. And those are monsters that even college football has to compete with at times. Like last Saturday evening, you had Game 7 of the World Series.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
You're having to compete with so much distraction. I wish college basketball would. I just think it would get off to a better start if it was moved back. But hey, I'm not in charge, and I'm sure there's some kind of purpose why they're doing it.
Yeah,
there certainly is. And the college football season now has been lengthened so much. We already talked about the champion wouldn't be decided for another 2 months.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a crazy long season. Well, Ryan, we always appreciate the time. I have a great show later today. I know it's been a tough week for everyone in Tuscaloosa, but we're all praying for y'all and appreciate you coming on.
I'm drinking some Chick-fil-A just for you. Little Sunjoy. Little Sunjoy.
Half and half.
Yep.
Half and half. Half tea, half unsweet. So, hey, appreciate you guys so much. And, hey, Drew, I'll see you tomorrow in the press box. And hopefully we've got some great food, some Cajun food coming out of that press box.
No more prison loaf, right?
Yeah, hope not. I haven't looked at the menu yet. I haven't made myself do that. But speaking of that, we need to go on our final break. Yes, sir. Thank you, Ryan. We need the lay of the land. Jimmy Lay will be joining us when we come back for our last few minutes here on Talkin' Ball on this Friday.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the plunge.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, You can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama, located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Let's head directly out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, get the lay of the land for some playoffs here tonight. Jimmy Lay joins us. How are you, sir?
Let's go. What's up, man?
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Yeah, doing great. Just had a lot of games last night. It's kind of unusual for the first round to have so many games on Thursday, but they did that because of the weather. I'm looking at the weather report, Steve. It looks like about 8:30 is when the floodgates might hit us. So hopefully not. Hopefully it'll push on or it'll delay. But that's just the way it is. But big game tonight with Madison Academy and Hatton. I've been looking at this thing. They have a lot of similarities. The biggest difference I see in the teams is that Hatton has got a lot more experience. Especially in their skill players. The quarterback's a senior, Tayshawn Love, he's a great player. Savarius Evans, really good player. Got to see them both, when they played Westminster last week. The Madison Academy had a big night, beating the Wildcats, and Hatton pretty much controlled the game when Westminster played at Hatton, but
Jimmy,
it's going to be a race to see who can get the lead before the rain starts.
Yeah. What kind of shot you giving Sparkman over Daphne?
Man, it's going to be so tough down there. It's just really tough but that region's really good. Can 7A Region 4 get a win?
Can we get a win? Just give me one.
Please.
Just give me one. I'll see you tonight, Jimmy. Go Senators!
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney